guys, we're just waiting for the guest to join us today. It's Tea with Mike, and I'm back. Super excited to be doing this again. It's been a little while since the last episode. So we're just going to wait for the guest to hop online, and then hopefully we'll get going straight away. Thanks for your patience. What's everyone been up to on this cold day in Canada? I was a little disappointed that I had to nearly shovel my car this morning. I want to listen. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, this is Tea with Mike.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Yeah, now I'm on. Perfect. Okay, what's up?
How's it going, Adam?
It's going great. I'm fucking pumped. I really am. Well, first of all, I gotta ask you this. For me, real quick, I do cuss a little bit because it's just how I think. Is it okay to cuss on this? I want to be super respectful to you in the show, so just let me know.
You can do it here and then.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
Rein it in a touch, but no. If it comes from a place of goodwill and passion, it's a place of goodwill.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, cool. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome to Tea with Mike, episode number 14. Joining me from New York today, it's Adam. Hi, Adam. How's it going?
It's going great. It's pretty cold. It's pretty cold right now.
That's cool.
I'm busy as shit, but yeah, yourself?
Pretty good. So, as you know, because you might have seen a couple of episodes before, first question of the day, what type of tea are you drinking?
I'm drinking regular Lipton tea. I'm not the hugest tea drinker. As a matter of fact, I love iced tea. I'm like obsessed with iced tea. So for me, it's kind of funny. I love this kind of tea that's actually made on the vineyards in the West Coast in California. It's super delicious. It's like a sweet. It's almost like caramel sort of tasting, and you just drink it. It's so great, especially when I'm sick. It's great, but I don't know. I'm just drinking casual Lipton tea right now. So,
how much tea do you drink a day? Would you say?
Like hot or cold?
Either.
Iced tea cold, that's like all I drink. That, and I'm huge on, because I work a lot, and because I'm very young, my energy and stamina, it's not fully developed, so I drink a lot of these cool freaking juices and everything. It's called Blueprint juice. It's like, all that organic kind of BS and that kind of stuff. But for me, like I've tried different things, like, a lot of it is, it's all BS, but for that worked for me. So I drink a lot of that. But I love just basic Lipton iced tea cold. I like that. And then maybe once or twice every couple weeks, I'll drink some hot tea in the morning. But yeah, that's usually how often I'm drinking tea.
Nice, dude. So, as the regulars know, my favorite type of tea is English breakfast tea. But I was actually at a coffee shop the other day with some friends. We were working on some projects as I was finishing up college, and I actually tried, because they didn't have my ideal tea. I actually tried a green tea. So
right.
And it honestly wasn't too bad. It went nicely with a slice of chocolate cake.
I know. I love, see, in New York, There's once you go into Manhattan, now the whole thing in areas like around Times Square, areas like Soho, Uptown, it's very trendy. And there's a lot of these nice, super cool like mom and pop cafes that you walk in, and tea is a huge factor in there. There's even like some kind of cafes that's like straight pure tea. Um, and they've got all these cool, funky flavors. But I really got to say, I got to try some more tea. I got to try some more tea. That's for sure. I got to try more tea.
Nice, man. So on every single episode of Tea with Mike now, we always have a kind of like a tea fact of the day. So and this actually kind of ties in nicely with this whole iced tea like theme. So it's taken from mentalfloss.com, and it says that 85% of tea sales in the United States of America come in the form of iced tea.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is something that I've really noticed. Everyone here is obvious, and I'm sure in Canada it's the same thing too. Everybody's huge on like coffee, Starbucks, that kind of stuff. I really do think, and it's super interesting, people who drink tea like on the normal, are super disciplined. Super, super disciplined. I don't know. It's like an interesting trait that I've noticed. Super random out of the box. But I do find that there's very few, like, normal daily tea drinkers here. I don't know. I guess it's not like that popular. I don't know why. It's weird. Iced tea,
So
though,
like
is
kind of like
popping.
all the iced tea, the cold drinks, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what you see
that's
people walking down the street with on their way to work or
exactly.
school.
And it's I think for hot drinks, the hot drinks are, because there can be like cold coffee, there can be like cold, iced coffee. I don't drink coffee, but there can also be hot coffee. So I think that a lot of people especially go with like the Starbucks or something, or as like a cool trendy kind of cafe for coffee rather than tea, because I don't think that there's, at least in New York and really in America in general, a tea brand that has really done sort of like a connection with like the end consumer as somebody like Starbucks, which kind of, builds them a personal connection. And where I'm sure it's the same in Canada, in New York, people who are carrying, Starbucks and all these trendy cups of coffee and everything, it's like a statement, it's like a personal statement to themselves. I think there's been like a super duper lack of that kind of thing in America when it comes to tea. I think in general, that's the kind of norm with tea.
Nice, man. Good answer. So, do you want to tell the Tea with Mike audience a little bit about you?
Sure. So, as you said, I live in New York City. I'm currently 16 years old. I recently just started an online herbal supplement business. Basically, the herbal supplement is custom formulated, not by me, but by a contract manufacturer in Albuquerque. It's basically the behemoth manufacturer of all custom formulated herbal supplements and stock item herbal supplements. And its function is sinus, pressure, colds, congestion, allergy relief, that kind of norm. And it's the way that I constructed it was to kind of fit how most people go about buying things today, which is something that's super quick, super easy to use, and super effective. And it's super healthy. Sort of, I've kind of gone under the route of, okay, I'm the alternative to something that's going to be in your, traditional drugstore, traditional pharmacy, something that's outside the box. And so, yeah, it's an online herbal supplement business. The macro goal of it is to basically take that entire industry of herbs and herbal supplements and bring it to online. Because shockingly, it's like an 86 to an $88 billion a year industry.
It's
And
crazy.
shockingly, it's all in stores, Whole Foods, markets, health food stores, regular supermarkets. But shockingly, it's not online, period. And my goal is to go and bring personalization and top esteem quality and do it online, direct to the consumer. So that's my goal there. That's one thing I do. I
Good.
also, over a year ago, started working at an independent pharmacy chain. I was literally just going, knocking on any kind of, company door, store door, mom and pop shop, just like, yo, I want to work. Like, that's it, right? I want to get my foot in the door, start working, get busy. And ironically, I was like, this pharmacy thing is going to be interesting to me. I was like, okay. I kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to them, and eventually the boss called me and was like, "Yo, like we'll give you a chance." So I got in, and basically I worked like hell, super super hard, super efficient. I learned a lot from them. And basically, a couple months in, around like mid-August, I got promoted as head of inventory. All the OTC items, house charge accounts. A house charge account is like
Really?
basically, yeah, yeah. And so I got that, and then on the side of that, with all the money that I get that doesn't get put into my business, I put into the stock market. So I learn, and I love to read about the stock market, and I love digital marketing as well. And right now at the pharmacy, we're just starting to dabble in, and they're telling me that they want to start to not only kind of use digital a bit in the store by creating content and putting the pharmacy on social media, which very few
Dude.
independent pharmacies do. So we're kind of doing that in a unique way here, as well as beginning to start to maybe do Facebook ads, to all this kind of stuff, slowly but surely. It's a really tedious kind of process, all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit about me right there.
Are you still in school?
Yeah, I'm in high school. Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
So it's impressive. I'm super humbled by it, but I truly I'm a big fan. Obviously, you and I, we tweet back at each other like crazy on Twitter.
Yeah, we do.
That I am super passionate about. It's really empowering to think that whatever you want to do in your life, whatever goals, aspirations, they could be big, they could be small, it doesn't matter, right? Whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy, good. For me, I'm a big believer that it's so empowering to think that whatever you want to do is in the palm of your hand. You have the power. The second that you're 18 and you start to move forward, I firmly believe that you have such power to go out and get what you want as long as you work and you're patient, you get through the bad times, you get through the dirt, that you can get into the clouds of success. That's what I really like Gary Vaynerchuk's kind of view on this, which is clouds dirt. And the dirt is, you eat shit, you live with roommates. You don't have to go to that extreme. A lot of people aren't going to go to that extreme because
That's true.
very few, one, are going to do that. Some of the stuff, though, is a little bit unreasonable, but generally what he's saying, he's 100% correct. And I really agree with it on my own terms, where if you deploy self-awareness and you work your face off, you can get to the clouds. It's that simple, right? I mean, obviously, sometimes life gets in the way, but again, you're in charge. So I'm a really big believer in that.
Nice. So what are you going back to on your school side? What are some of your favorite like subjects? What do you excel at? Do you just
Well,
try and get through school because you seem to already
I
know what you want to do, which is cool.
this is it's really interesting, right? So for me, my parents have luckily given me so much freedom to go and try and pursue all these different things, work 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week at the pharmacy, and really kind of double down on my strengths, what I want to do, right? They've given me that freedom, but at the same time, they hold me super accountable for how I do in school, right? Simply as just, even though I probably may never go down that route of school in my life, they're like, it's just smart to keep that door open. It's just smart. And they say that, look, for me, once I'm done with school, I'm a junior right now. So we graduate in like, I don't know, like 14 months or something like that.
Okay.
That just keep that door open of school where in like 5 years, if you change your mind as to what you want to do, like maybe this whole entrepreneur gig, building businesses, maybe you just stop wanting to do it. Maybe you want to go work at an accounting firm, like shit. Then you need good grades. So I keep good grades, but this is funny. I don't study one bit. I don't pay attention in like 96.4% of my classes. And believe it or not, I have like an 88 overall average. So
You have some good genes, and you're very lucky.
I think so, but I'm not that smart. I'm pretty dumb, to be honest. But like, I gotta be real with you. The school system, at least in New York City, I mean, it is just shit. Like it is just broken. I mean, I sleep during class. I read articles during class. I do other work. I account. I build Facebook ads on my phone. I create content. I do literally everything but pay attention to like they're teaching me how many rings are on Saturn. Like I don't care. So for me personally, and this is just me, I tend to focus on my strengths, but the school system is just so broken where you can completely wing it and you can get 90s and hundreds. I mean, it is completely broken, and believe it or not, very few people actually get 90s and hundreds. Um, but to get below that, in at least in New York, you gotta like not show up, which is what people like literally do. They don't show up. Um, but that's a testimony. To be honest with you, I'm not like smart or anything. I'm just like I'm very efficient with my time. So I'm efficient in what I do versus what I don't do, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Just touching on that? Are your parents like entrepreneurial? Have they ever run
Not one
businesses?
bit.
Really?
Not one bit.
Okay.
Let's see. My mom actually was very, very school oriented. She actually grew up in Canada like you. She went to McGill University.
Oh,
And
Toronto.
then
Okay.
from McGill, from Montreal. From McGill, she went to USC and she got a master's in, I think, like economics. And then she's had a fantastic career. She worked at big companies as VP of marketing and directing sales at companies like Nickelodeon. Now she's at EP. She's had a very great career. And so she's where I kind of get my marketing, my little marketing tactics and all this kind of stuff. And also where I get this kind of like FU kind of attitude, where she's like very snappy, like it's a weird analogy, but like she and I, like when you don't talk to us or annoy us or do like that, not when you don't talk to us, like when you don't like annoy us or like really kind of do that with us, we're like soft kittens or something, we're just soft, quiet, nice. But then once you start doing that, it's like, me personally, I don't know how to tolerate it. I just don't, um, where then I'll come right back at you with like, yo, like, no. But that's sort of me, my mom's kind of connection. That's what she does. And then my dad has a really interesting story. So he came from Iraq um, right before things got super bad in Iraq. Him and his brother were like, okay, we got to go. Their parents were like, you got to go before things get bad so you can have a great life for yourself. So they came. My dad went to university in Arizona, and he actually got in the herbal supplements industry from like the get. So that's why I'm kind of into it, where I grew up kind of around that. And he has been in it for over 30 years. So he's been in it from the start time when it was like almost nothing to now where it's this ginormous thing and it's just beginning to pick up. And he's very high up in the industry. He's the sales manager of one of these large companies, and that's where I learned. That's where I learned from him. But both of them are very school oriented. They're very wary, but they are fantastic parents. Everything that I do and that I am today, everything that I can get in my future that I'm working towards, I 100% credit to them really, because of the freedom that they've given me. And I'm really a firm believer in something that Elon Musk said, that when you're a kid, you get algorithms just downloaded into your brain, and those algorithms can either win you or completely screw you in the long game. And I think that some of those things I've overwritten, but some of those things, the key core things, which is do your thing, has been my diamond, and I'm riding that diamond, and so far it's going well.
Nice,
So
man.
that's my
Good answer.
parents.
So for me, like, I agree with quite a lot of what you say, but it's kind of almost the reverse. I went through education to find what I like truly wanted to do, right? So
Yeah.
I did like this theater and entertainment production program,
Right.
which is kind of cool. So like lighting, sound, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's pretty slick. I did some cool stuff, met some cool people, of course. Um,
Right.
so I did that for about like 2.5 years, did a whole bunch of shows. Went to the Edmonton Fringe, one of the biggest theater festivals in the world.
Right.
You meet artists from all over the world, like fire eaters from Argentina.
Right.
Lots of people from New York are there, obviously, because New
Yep.
York's big for theater too.
Big entertainment and all that. Yep.
Yeah, so anyway, I did all of that. Had lots of fun and stuff, and then ended up looking for like a corporate audio visual company. And it was fun, it was fine, but there were things I didn't like about it.
Right.
I don't think I was a good fit for that particular company.
Right.
Just in how I think and do things and how they were
100%.
set up, which is the way it
Totally
is.
get it.
That's the world.
Yep.
It's
It's
not a
life.
bad thing. People are just different. So I did that, and then had a couple of jobs that were kind of a little bit and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
And then this like new program came up. It was called Media and Communications at Red Deer College that I'm just about to finish. Got my practicum left.
Right.
So I took that because it looked cool, and I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
still after 2 years of school and stuff. So I went back to school, spent some more money, and so on and so forth. Did like
Right.
the first semester, and it's kind of okay. So just keep
Right.
going, I guess. So
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
I want to do. And then we had
Yeah.
this. And then the moment it changed, like we had this guest speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about his name's Jonathan Strom. He lives in my
Right.
local community. Um, he um, he gave this talk on like social media and like
Yep.
content creation, and
Hmm.
said the words Gary Vaynerchuk for the first time ever. First time I've ever
Right.
heard those two words. And boy, did I look it up afterwards, and it was like, wow, this guy is like super inspiring. Like
Gary
both
V.
both
Oh yeah.
yeah, both Jonathan and
Oh.
Gary V.
Oh.
Because I left the guest lecture, and it was like I was like a different person.
I know. Yeah.
Like a switch just came on in the head. It was
I know.
really weird. I
Yeah.
felt really magical. It's really difficult to describe. It was like out of the body experience. So then I started jumping. I went back to all my like social media platforms afterwards, and like looked at what I'd done before, and it was just like it's the same as everybody else, right? Like mass follow, like
I know. It's yeah.
hoping people
It's
will like follow me back, and I'm not putting anything out. So I'm just literally one of those people with like two posts, but then following like 2,000 people.
right. It's super interesting because for me, I've started sort of in that game of posting content and documenting my journey. In the sense of I'm putting out a lot of content. I mean, nowhere near what I should be putting out, but I'm putting out a lot. If you keep up with me on Twitter,
I do. I'm
I
on it all the time.
I put out a lot. My Twitter handle, if you want to go check, is Adam Adam underscore Laor
Just
Laor,
yeah.
and I really try to tweet a whole bunch, like a
Me too.
lot. And I try to put out so much content. Where per day with Instagram stories, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, I probably put out close between like 60 to sometimes over 100 pieces of total content a day.
That's
And
crazy.
this is what's super crazy that I really wish that people would kind of understand that are sort of starting to dive into this game of entrepreneurship, which you and I really kind of get, that people when they start out, the whole game is that if you get like a whole bunch of followers and likes and comments and everything, and you're posting every once in a while, you're gonna lose in the long game because especially if you're not providing value. Like if you're already up there on a pedestal and you're putting out small pieces of content here and there, like right, we get it, you're doing your thing,
Yeah.
but people got to understand that you got to put out massive amounts of content, um, loads of it, and you got to document versus create. I think that's where people really get lost. I think that's a good point that Gary Vee sort of touches upon once in a while, where instead of creating content, in a way, this is for people who like document their journey in sense that straight up, when you think of a thought, you just got to go write it down, tweet it, copy paste on all these different kinds of platforms, and just start saturating. I think that a lot of people, especially in this day and age of entrepreneurship, where if you're an entrepreneur and you own a business and you put out a lot of content, like you are way up there in people's viewpoints today. um, I just think that the people who aren't putting out enough and who aren't actually living it are going to get liquidated out sooner or later. And I think for the people who actually want to win in the macro scheme of things, the people who are putting out a lot of content every day, literal, like real content that they're creating from the heart and telling their truth, they're going to win big in the long game. I really believe that.
No. Nice man. So which like social media platform do you like the most? Which one gets you excited? What do you use
Well,
more? What are you doing? Strategy. What's your strategy?
so I think I love to network with people on Twitter. I think Twitter's kind of made for that, where you see a tweet and then you kind of see answers to a tweet, and then you can kind of give your 2 cents on almost each. Versus Instagram, Instagram shows you like the top comment, and then it shows you view all other comments. People today are just going to keep scrolling. They're not going to go in. So networking purposes to kind of get to know people, drop your 2 cents. I think get saturated in the community. I love using Twitter. Um, I do love Instagram. I love Instagram to show kind of your creativity, to kind of show who you are and document your truth on Instagram. I think Instagram is very video oriented. I think a lot of good posts, visual content with words, like super creative and trendy. I think that's super good. But I also do think that sometimes as a part of, like I said, doing more. It's sometimes super okay to just go to Instagram stories, just take a picture of a black screen, write some like real powerful couple words, and then put it on your story, make it a post. Again, the answer is more. I think Instagram is very good for showing your creativity, who you are. I think LinkedIn is super business in depth. I think there's no kind of motivational go, go, go. There's no kind of, it's nothing. LinkedIn is strictly for business. LinkedIn is strictly, in a way, sort of for motivational purposes in some way, but you have to be very picky as to which kind of motivation you put out on LinkedIn to keep the tone of business. Um, that's LinkedIn. Facebook is really any and everything. I think Facebook is any and everything. I think Facebook's audience is so huge that you can put out any and everything that you possibly could think of in terms of content, and you can have massive amounts of just feedback from all sorts of different directions. I think Facebook is a great place to do any and everything. Network, gain a following, gain new friends, get saturated in the community, show your creativity. I think Facebook's just the everything game. But I think Instagram's on the way to kind of overtaking Facebook in a way.
You think?
I think so. And I originally thought that it was going to be Snapchat, but I don't know. When I think of a lot of, I'm talking in this specific niche of like entrepreneurs, creators, this kind of stuff. I think Snapchat has become a little bit weak amongst the community, simply because lack of people who are actually on it. I think people who are on Snapchat aren't there for the motivation or for the business. They're just kind of on there to keep up with their friends. And I think Snapchat...
What was the latest party that happened at the weekend? And
yeah, exactly. You know, like what they did last weekend. Do they want to chill today, tomorrow? You know, I'm not even on Snapchat. To be honest, I used to be on Snapchat a lot. I got rid of it to me because I was like, the only reason why I use it is to talk with friends. I'll just text my friends instead and get rid of all the extra kind of BS and, you know, the shit you just don't need to see, and just get even more laser focused on what I'm doing and get rid of Snapchat. Because I wasn't even putting out content back on Snapchat. I wasn't putting out any content, period. So
yeah, it's quite hard to put content out.
It really is. It's very hard. But I do think Instagram is going to be it. But I think this is what's super interesting to me. I think in the long game, I don't think any of these platforms are going to actually be something big. I don't think that the whole concept of post, video, all that kind of stuff is going to be big. I think voice technology is going to be huge. I think that there's going to be something where you can be like, hey, Alexa, play, you know, my gig on social media is Laor Legacy. Be like, play Laor Legacy's quote of the day, you know, and like you can make an Alexa skill that has that play. I think that's going to be humongous. For a lot of people down the line. Now, obviously, it's, you know, 10 years, 7 to 10 years from now. But I think in the long scheme of things, voice is going to completely wipe all that out. Because right now, platforms like Instagram, sort of in a way, Facebook, Twitter almost in a way, and even LinkedIn are very, very visual. When it comes to voice, there's no visual. It's just diction. I think Twitter could be a leader in that. And then I think there's going to be other companies that are going to be formed and other giants in the voice world that are going to be formed down the line. So I think voice is going to win in the long term.
Yeah, no. So for me, it's kind of like Twitter. I can jump on it in like 5 seconds and tweet out something that I'm like just doing in the moment. Like, oh, I can connect with a bunch of local people. Like
exactly.
The other day, this one tweet, you know, tweeted out at one person that I know it, and then they tagged a bunch of people.
Exactly.
And then a bunch of other people got mad at them because they didn't get tagged, and then it started this like cool chain, right?
Exactly.
Like, people in
exactly.
the local area, and then I of course I followed them all, messaged them, started building that connection. So I connected with like 50 new people off one tweet, and it was like really cool.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
So I think Twitter's underrated.
Oh, very, very underrated. Agreed.
I'm on Instagram more for the present. So again, it's just another platform to promote Tea with Mike, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you should be on lots of platforms.
Exactly.
And then Facebook, I personally like Facebook Live at least for now, because like when you save the videos afterwards, you don't like Instagram. Right. You don't have all the comments scrolling through the video. Looks more professional.
Right.
But you can still respond to all the comments afterwards, so it's not like you're ignoring everybody.
Right, exactly.
So I really think Facebook's like undervalued, and just like the community that we're building, this is still a platform that's relevant. I just think a bit of every platform, not Snapchat for me, at least.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know. I think Twitter is definitely underrated. I think Twitter is something that is, like you said, the kind of go kind of thing where you can just quickly tweet something quickly get in touch with a lot of people. I think Instagram, like you said, is a presence game. Like all these other profiles really in social media, everybody's going to have that one platform or those two platforms that are always going to kind of, be popping for them.
It's Twitter
And then,
yeah.
and
It's Twitter
then
and Facebook for me right now, I guess.
for me, it's been Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I literally only got myself on Facebook. I mean, literally like a week ago. I've gotten in touch with a lot of people. That's for sure. Instagram for me as well. I've seen tremendous engagement and growth as time goes on, because it's funny. Instagram has a thing where their algorithm sometimes will completely screw your posts up, but it's so interesting. When your like and following count goes down per post, your engagement shoots. It's crazy. It's so weird. At least that's how it worked for me. And then for Twitter as well. I just love Twitter. I just love connecting, talking to people straight up. I just love that.
Yeah, so for me, I not the biggest yet on Instagram yet, but more importantly for me than the followers is I get like insane engagement, right?
Right. Yeah.
I put a post out just on the call tea with my Facebook page.
Mhm.
We're just about to hit 500, which is kind of exciting.
Right.
But I put out a post and I checked it. It reached like 176 people, but the
I know.
engagement was like 113, which is
I
like
know.
percentage-wise, that's like 68% engagement. That's pretty cool.
That's high. That's great. I don't know. I just wish that in general, people who want to be an entrepreneur and who want to be in the creative kind of community, I think that they should seriously consider becoming super diversified and super saturated in getting through all those platforms and getting to new people on all those different platforms. I think that's big. Bottom line for me on social media.
Yes, man. So let's switch it up a little bit. So in your bio, you talk about how you're a huge sports fan.
Oh man. I'm a passionate New Yorker, super passionate New Yorker about the Yankees. It just hurts to talk about the Yankees right now because we're real injured. We're winning, but we're super injured. I hate the Mets with my gut. It's a hobby for me to hate the New York Mets. I'm a Giants fan. Fuck the Jets. And I love the Knicks, but again, James Dolan, he just stabs me in the back every time. Every time I get an ounce of hope, I just no. Like right now, the Knicks are probably going to get the number one pick in the draft. And I guarantee you, James Dolan is not going to pick any of the top 10 players in the draft. He's going to go pick some guy like international from Zimbabwe that nobody's ever heard about, and he's going to go pick him and claim him. He's the next Wilt Chamberlain or some BS. I don't know. Love sports though. I love sports.
Do you ever get out to any games?
Oh my God, do I get out to any games? Also, real quick, I forgot to mention, I'm huge on tennis. Love tennis.
Oh,
Um,
at tennis.
Love tennis. But yeah, I get out to a lot of games. A lot of Yankee games, a lot of Met games, very few Giants games and football games simply because it's just so cold. Like, I don't want to go and sit at a game when it's snowing, raining, and like 15 degrees. I
That's a
don't
true
know.
sports fan.
I know that's a true sports fan, but I'm not that deep into football. Basketball, I'm going anytime. Baseball, I mean, I'm going when it's 10 degrees. September baseball, like postseason baseball, I'm going in. I don't care. I don't care if it's raining hail and, like it's thundering and lightning hits me in the face. I'm going. I'm watching the Yankees. That's my thing. Baseball is really, that's my passion in sports. I'm not as passionate in football, but it's really kind of baseball, basketball, tennis I really love, that I'm really, kind of diehard in. But baseball, number one and number two.
Have you been to any tennis competitions in New York?
Yes. So I went to the Open a couple years back.
Yeah.
I actually, one time, I was actually in London when I was a kid, and I went to an event there. It was on tour. I don't remember the name, but it wasn't Wimbledon, that's for sure.
ATP Golf Finals.
It was definitely ATP, but it was. I've been to a couple tennis games. I gotta say, I was big in playing. And yeah, once in a while you go and watch tennis games here. Problem is here in New York, there's very few actual, real tennis games that are going on, like ATP Tour, that are worth going to watch. Um, in tennis, I was much more of the player than the watcher, but I really loved. I just love watching. I remember a couple of years back, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago when Roger Federer first came back and he won the Australian Open against Nadal. Then he went to Miami, beat Nadal.
Nice.
I think did he win in Wimbledon or no? He won in Wimbledon, right? That year he beat the other guy with the beard and the short hair. I forgot his name. I forgot his
Don't
name, but
don't remember off the top of my head.
I just love him. I love Federer. I sort of like Nadal, but every time, I hate hearing every time he hits, it just ticks me off. I love, Monfils, the French guy. I
Yep.
love him.
Yeah,
He's a character, man. He's crazy when he goes through the legs, he's a goof. I love it.
ever seen Andy
Yeah,
Murray play?
I love Andy Murray. That guy is like, he's finesse all day, every day. I got big respect for that guy. I got big
It
respect
was
for that
so
guy. He's
magical
good.
when he won Wimbledon for the first time.
I know. I remember seeing that. I watched that on TV. It was amazing. Speaking of Wimbledon, actually, I have watched, I think, 9 times the Wimbledon finals when Federer and Nadal played once, like the all-time finals when Nadal had the long hair going and
Yeah.
Federer was still in his super prime, like can't lose, and he lost, and it was just wow. I don't know, but that was an incredible series. I love tennis from the bottom of my heart. I love it.
Do you still play?
I actually just stopped playing. I just stopped playing because I just don't have time to play it professionally, sort of in a way, like actually go on matches and tournaments. But I play definitely on my free time. Me and my friends, we usually go out to the courts a lot. We go hit it against the wall at the park. But professionally, like tournament kind of play or match kind of play on the team in school, I don't have time anymore because of what I'm doing outside. Um, but no, I still play it as a hobby. I love it. I love it.
I, I, that's also touching on a good subject. Even though we're both kind of deep going down this route, this journey, all the spending so much time on social media, building our presence, business ideas, whatever, it's still like super important to take time, go outside, hang out
Oh
with
my
your friends,
God, a hundred
play
percent,
sport,
100%,
mental health, right?
100%. And you are so right. I'm glad you brought that up because, a lot of people, whether it be in school, a lot of people who keep up with my content on social media and DM me with questions, I tell them, look, I work super, super crazily hard, like 18 hours a day, no joke, sometimes 20, because building businesses and administrative and social media content and digital marketing is a hobby for me. For me, when I wake up in the morning and I think digital marketing, I like, oh, I'm gonna go direct a Facebook ad, or I'm gonna go make some content, or I'm gonna go, gain clients, or I'm gonna go, sell some herbal salt, etc. You get the point. It's a hobby. I love doing it. So for me, there's a phrase of work hard, play hard. I work hard. My play hard is also to work hard. So it's super important for when you're doing your passion and when you're good at it to find sort of time for your friends, basketball, all your hobbies, your interests. And I think that it's super important for all of you. Don't try to be somebody, be yourself, but follow, still do just what is required by your standards. So if only, like, I know plenty of my friends who are gonna get super duper basic ass jobs, the norm, $50,000 a year, pointless degree in like accounting or something, that's not gonna get them anywhere. But they're gonna be ultra happy because on Sunday they're gonna get to order like a bucket of 50 wings, biscuits, fries, burgers, and they're gonna watch the football game, and they're gonna be super happy. So that's pumped. I'm pumped for them, right? But I think it's super important to understand that people or yourself follow your intuition. Don't try to be a part, be yourself. That's super important. Make sure that you make time for things that you enjoy, that you love. I think that is crucial um, to being happy, which is really what all this is about. None of this is about, for me, I play this game for admiration. It's not for money, for fame, all that stuff. Attention wise, I can put aside. I don't care. When I wake up in the morning, I genuinely want to do this, no matter how much money I make, no matter how many followers or likes I have, no matter how many people know me. I love to help people. I love the admiration kind of game. And this is a hobby, as I said. When I wake up, I'm pumped to go work. That's it.
That, it's kind of similar for me too. Like tea with rice
Exactly.
was a random like crazy idea that I had. I thought it'd be super cool.
Exactly.
I've been debating for a while, like, because I've always been a likable personality. But
Right, I can tell.
but just taking that next step and actually doing it, they're just two completely different things.
Execution. Execution.
But like you said, it's still a hobby. I'm doing this for fun. Like, who can I
Exactly.
meet today? All a few weeks ago, I met you, Adam.
Exactly.
Like a
Exactly.
couple of months ago, I met Isaac, who I see is watching the stream. Hey, Isaac.
Isaac Mashman, yeah.
And then other people that are on the stream that I've known for periods of time. And it's cool just to keep building those
Yep.
relationships on all the platforms,
100%.
right?
100%. 100%. It is awesome to keep building this, and I can't say this enough again. For me, this is coming from somebody who has grown up in a very good family, a very good foundation. Super lucky, super grateful for that. I mean, literally every day I see friends who have bad family situations, people with bad family stories, and it holds them back crucially. I truly believe that if somebody on their own 2 feet doesn't have the strength to rise above that adversity and kind of take that adversity and eat it as humble fucking pie and then rise and go win the game like crazy, they will lose. And that's 99% of people. 1 in 100 people are going to be able to stomach the kind of negative stuff. It's horrible. Things that, some parents, some things that kids believe, bullying, anything. But the people that can stomach it and stomach it the right way, to stomach it and not execute the right way is one thing. To stomach it and execute the right way is completely different. So for me, back to my point, I know I got a little off topic right there, but the
Cool.
whole game for me is that coming from a fantastic family, which for me, luckily we have done very well. My family has done fantastic for themselves. And I can tell you this, money is not the answer to making you happy. It's just not. You can have literally any amount of money, you name it. If you're not doing what makes you happy and smile in the morning, your shit is just broken. It's just fucked. It is
It's
done.
a waste of time. Honestly.
It really is, and it sucks because people really do float around in life like they're coming back. Like I made a video. Like, you're not coming back, you idiot. Like, if you come back, you're gonna come back as like a tree or a Jeep or a tire or a hat. Like me personally, or an Amazon box. It's so much better for me to be a human and to be able to have all these aspirations and dreams and abilities to go out and do things and live my life rather than be some tree or not come back, period. And I think too many people, they just float around, no purpose. And I get it. Majority, 98% of people don't have much ambition, period. But for those who do have the ambition, it's great to talk about it, but then you got to act on it. And I think that happiness is just genuinely the ultimate ROI positive in somebody's life. In my content, I've been super, super dedicated to putting that out there to the community, that happiness is the ultimate ROI. And a lot of people know me as somebody who's been born into a fantastic situation. But it's funny. I think there's been stories where parents give way too much and it screws their kids over. And then some parents take too much and don't give much at all, and it screws their kids over in that way. My parents I've been blessed for them to give enough but take enough. So to the point where I'm balanced and neutral, and then I can go the right way and I choose the right way. Luckily, it seems like I'm going the right path. So I think parenting has a huge thing to do with somebody's successes, at least uncontrolled luck. I'm a big firm believer in uncontrolled luck, which is just things like DNA, parents, born circumstances. I wrote an article on that. It's crucial.
What's the article called?
The article, it's on Medium. It's on medium.com. My user is Adam Laor. And it's literally called Uncontrolled Luck. If you just click onto my profile, you'll see it. It's going to be there. It's Uncontrolled Luck. I think that's super, super important that if you want to go and read it, I highly suggest that you go and read it. I think it's going to change your mindset, your perspective on things. It's super crucial to understand your uncontrolled luck, that's the situation that you've been put in, and how you can either capitalize that or reverse engineer that uncontrolled luck and go and win big. I think that's huge.
Dude, I really do admire how like energetic you are. You always like this energetic.
I am always on basically. I mean, whenever, unless I'm asleep, I mean, even when I'm asleep, I'm like twitching thinking about things. But like, no, when I'm up, besides in school, school's like a jail for me. You know, school just turns me off. You know, but when I'm outside of school, I just go 110% in. Because one, again, like I said in the beginning of this, I'm super passionate, and it's so empowering to think I'm in charge, because every day that I'm putting in the work and the time, I know that in 10 years I'm going to win. It's a matter of consistency, hard work, and patience. And then when shit hits you in the face, you just got to get back up. And that's where I think people lose, that when they get smacked in the face and when adversity hits them, everybody quits, because it's the easy thing to do. It's hard to stay tough. It's really fucking hard. It sucks. But I think that it is huge. It is huge that if you can get through the adversity and the tough times and the shit that people shit on you for, you will win big. And I think for me, I've gone through plenty of adversity as a kid where I was F school. I hated school. I got through school well. I hated it. I didn't pay attention. You know, I had a lot of friends, but I was like, screw you, teacher, screw you, school book. I don't care. I can't conform to it, and I sucked. I never paid attention, never did homework, never studied. I just didn't do it. And when I tried to, I still flunked. It's like, what the hell is this, right? I'm like, I don't know what a sedimentary rock is, right? I have no care for what the heck that is, right? For me, that was my adversity, where everyone told me you're going to suck, you lose, you're shit. And now here I am, where literally today, I kid you not, and it's just funny to see how the same people who shit on you and tell you you stink today in school and today around me, they're like, yo, I want to fucking be you. You know? And I'm like, well, look, dick, you shit on me 10 years ago. So now in 10 years, we're going to really see what's up. And I think it's just super empowering to understand that you're in charge every day. If you put in the time, if you put in the work and you're patient, you're going to win, and it's in the books. I think that super wholeheartedly, and there's proof to back it up, because that's all the shit that all these successful people show and tell you to do.
That's super cool. Like what I think one of the biggest advantages that you have is that you started so young, so you got time to rise and fall again, rise and then fall again, and rise and fall again.
Exactly. I think the time that I have is super crucial, where I can literally screw up at every single thing that I want to do for the next 10 years, and I'm only 26 years old. 26 is when majority of people get out of college. I would have already got hit in the face like for 10 years, sucked at everything, and this is taking worst case scenario where I can screw up and fail at everything. In 10 years, I'm only 26, and holy hell, I have a whole lot of experience, a whole lot of brains, and a whole lot of things that I can do. That's my viewpoint. So yeah, you're right. I think age in this case, and in your case, you're super young.
23.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm still young, yes. I am.
You're just getting started. That you just have time. You have time. You have so much time, and honestly, if you build a good foundation, which I have done super carefully yet super quickly in my business, which is make sure that, you know, my actual supplement is really, like, it's top quality. It is top notch, and it's better, and it's premium. My brand, top notch, premium, consistent posting. What I'm going to do soon on Facebook ads is going to be super interesting, because it's going to make a connection, and I've done enough data on Facebook ads where I know who I'm sort of targeting, etc. So my foundation is being built. And I think over the next 2 years, it's all about foundationing. And then from there, that's when you can go and take off. And I think, to get super businessy real quick, I think for everybody who's watching this, who's thinking about starting a new business, I think this is one piece of advice that really they can take. Make sure that if you're really going to be building a business, check your ego at the door. Check it at the door. In this sense, and this is what I mean in a sense, so many businesses build a decent, solid foundation that they can go scale. Many businesses do. Thousands, millions of businesses do. But then the owners of the company, the CEOs of the company, don't check their ego at the door. What do I mean? They're great at some things, decent at some things, and they suck at other things. And for that foundationing time, when they have all hands and everything, they're doing everything, and they think because they got to that level, they're geniuses. When they're not, they suck. And there's one thing that they rock at. So if you're watching this and you want to start a new business and be an entrepreneur, be prepared that when you begin to scale, you have to delegate. Delegate. Check your ego at the door. I think that's crucial, and that's going to be crucial for me down the line, where my strengths super duper lie in product development, branding, consumerism, and digital marketing, that I'm going to delegate all the techie stuff and get a brainiac for digital marketing to really super duper scale, and just let me do the product development, new products, new brands, study the consumer, and give people what they want, and let the back end go to the people who are 10 times as good as me. I think that's crucial for all of you who want to start a new business who are watching this. Check your ego at the door and be ready to delegate. That's the only way you're going to win, and that's the only way that you're going to scale.
Yes, dude. Yeah, that's kind of. I guess I'll give it all the weight because it's all about everybody else. So that is kind of what I'm doing with my.
Exactly.
I've got people in my class super good at graphic design.
Exactly.
I could get good at graphic design, but it's all about time, right?
Exactly.
So we're trading favors, making deals that are fair for both parties.
100%.
I'm always giving credit to their work when I put in on my stuff, knowing that it's a part of my brand, but I didn't.
Right.
I wasn't the one that put the paintbrush to the page, because
Right.
it's really important to give credit to other people.
100%.
So I agree with you there. Is there anyone outside of your parents that you find inspirational to you? Who do you surround yourself with in terms of your friends? Do you keep your business people that you connect with separate to the person that you're going to play football with at the park?
Obviously, this is what's super interesting. Growing up and playing sports like baseball and tennis and just baseball and tennis, really my main two childhood sports. I grew up and played them on the teams with kids who are from the dirt, from the trenches, from really tough backgrounds. Kids who I hang out with outside and play football with, play basketball with, go to the movies with, chill with, talk with, like we're close. They are from the trenches. So ironically, I get along so much more from the kids who really have it tough, but who are the realest people ever. Like super real, super honest, straight to the point, tough background. Business-wise, I don't know yet, because I'm in a very interesting spot in a business where I'm online. So I don't have clients. I don't have business connections. I'm straight to the consumer, where it's literally this simple in my business, where you send out Facebook ads, you liquidate out the customers who don't work, and then you build a connection with them through online. And then once you scale, that's when you start to get business connections, etc. But on the online game, it's only once you scale. The foundationing is all about data and what you do with the data. So from a business perspective of who, is in the business circle, there's really nobody, to be honest. I really only talk about business with 2 or 3 people in general, 2 of them being my parents, because my mom, I get a lot of the marketing ideas and my marketing brain from her. And then I get the whole herbal supplement business itself from my dad. So I learn a lot of this stuff from these 2. And then I take my own savviness from digital and I do it on the internet. And that's it. And it's simple, because my plan is for the next 2-3 years is to foundation this business with a lot of data, a lot of testing, failing, trying, winning, trying, failing, etc. And then once I'm like, okay, shit, we can strike here, is get those 2 or 3 other brainiacs that I'm not great at, and we just go. And that's where we're going to win. And I think that inspirational outside of my parents, I would say Gary Vee is one. A lot of people tell me, you sound like fucking Gary Vee, like you're mini him. A lot of people tell me that.
I was going to make that comment earlier, but I definitely refrained from saying it.
And a lot of people tell me that, and I feel honored. Like, to be compared to that dude is like, yo, like you're in some kind of company, right? Like you're in some kind of company when you're with that dude. I really admire him for his hustle and his lack of excuses. He had plenty of excuses to make. He came here, he came from Belarus, he was broke, He had no skills. He sucked at school. But look, he's worth $200 million. He runs a massive ad agency. He's doing it all. He's winning huge. And it's simple because one time he had a live stream on Facebook, and it was a couple months ago, and I got the notification, and I was like, oh, shit, right? So we started watching, me and my friends. It was actually on my friend's phone that he got the notif, and he sort of keeps up with Gary Vee a little bit, and we were like, oh, shit, yeah, we'll watch it. It was like in June, July, and he said, look, the only reason why I'm here today is a couple things. Lack of excuses, hard work, patience, and I persevered when shit got tough. And it's just so, when you think about that, when you're hungry as shit, when you are obsessed with your game, like utterly obsessed, like I'm talking when you eat, sleep, drink, take a shit, talk to the teacher, take anything. When you're thinking about your game, your plan, whatever it might be, anything in that circle of your game, your on course, your tray of food, once you're obsessed, that's when you win. And obsession layered with hard work, patience, perseverance, execution, you win. And I think Gary Vee really, really, really got that into my brain that second when he said it. And since then, with that thought in my brain, I'm like, holy fuck, like I'm in control, right? And that's why I go so hard and I win, because it's in control. I'm in control. And when I'm patient and I think well, luckily, I'm smart enough to be able to do all of these kinds of things at a young age, especially. It's just the thought that you're in control and that you're in power is huge, crucial to me. That's
it. Nice, dude. So I guess all of what you've been talking about today answers that one line that you have in your bio about how life is in our hands.
It is. Life is in your hands. What you do with it is your decision. It is your choice. And I think for all of you who are watching, I know a lot of people who are tuning in. I know Isaac is tuning in. I know my friend Mark Davidson is tuning in. I think there were a couple other people from Twitter, maybe even a friend or two of mine are tuning in.
That's awesome. That's really
cool. That each one of you, I know, because we talk on a personal level, that each of you should really think about your execution and think about whatever you want to do. The answer, if you're not getting there, is more. It's more. It's more, it's more, it's more. If you're not where you want to be, you just got to work harder. If you're working hard, then you got to execute better. And it's this simple. You got to read data and you got to just give it time. Read data, give it time, and analyze. And that's the bottom line, where it's in your hands. Whatever you want to happen, you can make happen. But map your actions to your ambitions. If you want to be a huge superstar, do it. And I use myself as an example. I always put myself in the mirror and I say, am I doing what I put myself up to? Like, am I really doing this? Am I hustling hard enough to what I want to be? My ultimate goal in this whole thing of legacy is, for my generation, I want to be one of the leaders in entrepreneurship. I want to. And I hustle like hell every day, like hell. Super hard. And I eat the dirt, right? And this is another thing. The one thing, again, for all of you who are watching this, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you're starting out, you have zero, you're at scratch, nothing, just because the word entrepreneur is up there and you're like, oh, I work for myself, it's smart as fuck to work somewhere first. Earn some cash, gain some experience, and eat some shit. There is nobody, literally nobody, even Gary Vee, even the definition of what a damn entrepreneur is, worked for somebody.
Yeah.
He worked for somebody. Think about this. He worked under his dad from 20 to like 32.
Yeah, something crazy.
Like eat some shit. Like, if you want to eat caviar for the rest of your life and live the high life and be awesome and all glamored and admired, you got to put in time. You got to put in work. You got to eat some dirt, right? Just keep saying it to yourself in your head and put it into action and see what happens. When you see that you're in control and when you hustle hard every day, micro speed, macro patience, you win. And I think that once all of you start to execute and see that, you're going to start to see some big results in a micro perspective, and down the line, you're going to see huge results in a macro perspective.
I never told you this, but one of the reasons why I invited you onto Tea with Mike, because even though we've only just like really connected on social
Right.
media. I was really impressed by your motivation and your drive for somebody
I I I
like
appreciate that
so
so
young, because I
much.
know a lot of people that are your age that what are you gonna do in 3 years? Help!
No, I know, and this is something huge. Everybody in my kind of age group, sort of, a year or two younger than me, a year or two older than me, is very, very caught up in a really tough spot where a lot of the kids around me, and there's thousands. I go to a school with almost 5,000 people, I think, and you get every walk of life around, every kind of person, the richest to the poorest to the middle to the this to that. Something huge is they're trapped in a box of what they want to do because they've been held as to what to do, not how to do it. What to think, not how to think. And I think school has ultimately fucked some of these kids, and I think their parents as well have fucked them, but I think themselves have screwed themselves over hard in the sense that their parents have forced them down a drain to make themselves feel good. And I think a big example was the college admissions scandal recently on the news, with how all these super big stars like Lori Loughlin paying hundreds of thousands to just get her kid to go to a stupid college so that kids at her damn, tea club party could be, oh, she goes to USC. Like, fuck you. If you don't think my kid is like all that, and you're talking to me just because, and you put me on
That's
a
sad.
lower
Yeah, it's
pedestal
really sad.
because of where she goes to school, like, screw you. Like, your life must just suck in that case. And I think a lot of kids around me, I mean, really, there's going to be the select few who are going to do it big, and there's always going to be that select few who are going to do it big around you. But the majority, it's very hard to really see because they're panicking and they can't stand on their own 2 feet. And you're very young to stand, but to just be able to think for yourself, to know what you want to do, to all these kinds of things, just have an idea at least of what you want to go into. It's bad. It's very scary. And the thing is that they look at going outside of school as such a horrible decision. When, I mean, really, when you think about it, the ultra successful in life didn't do it through school. They did it through trial, error, and their own way. What made them happy? Habits, obsession. The ultra successful, not people who are only worth $3 million, people who are worth like 74 to 200 to a billionaire. They did it their way. They did what made them happy, and they were smart as fuck about doing it. That's something that is huge. And I think that kids my age today, if any of you are tuning in, and I'm pretty sure that there's a couple of you who are tuning in who are my age, or around my age, please take a deep dive of self-awareness, eat some humble pie, and start to learn how to do shit, not what to do shit. Because school has taught you the wrong thing, my friends. It has taught you the wrong thing, and if you don't believe me, well, you're going to find out the second you get out of that 4 to 5 year vacation that's college. And you just got out of college, I think, right? It was fun.
I'm just about to graduate.
It's like a
Legitimately, yeah.
vacation. It's like a vacation almost,
It
for
is
most.
if you really look at the big picture. It kind of is.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's just, please learn how to do things, not what to do, because school has told you rules and things and has liquidated all the creativity, the real brain in you, the happiness brain, all the dreams, the goals that you have. They've liquidated it out for you because they've been telling you you can't. You suck. I'm sorry. If you don't have an A in my class, you suck, right? If you want to be a doctor and you have a C minus in chemistry, well, yeah, you suck. Doctor's not good for you. But deploy some self-awareness, and if you're a master chef, go be a chef. Learn how to do shit. Don't learn what to do. That's the key. That's the key. It's the bottom line for anybody who's young and starting. Learn how to stand on your own 2 feet and just work as hard as you want and do what makes you happy. That's it. It's the bottom line
Nice,
for kids my age.
nice dude. So so moving into kind of to the next, I guess we call this the next section of the show.
Sure.
We'll kind of reverse a little bit. You got any questions for me? Like, what are you curious about?
I'm curious. I'm super curious about this. Tell me your thoughts on college itself. Tell me your
Okay.
thoughts. I'm curious as to your thoughts on going, not going, because I'm curious as to hear from somebody who's right out of it, fresh out of it, who should go, who shouldn't, because I think that some of the people watching this should really like listen up and hear, and I think you're a fantastic example for them.
Good question. Okay. So college, first off, is obviously great, as you kind of alluded to. If you're adamant, you want to be an engineer, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a teacher. There are
Mm-hmm.
certain professions where the way society and the systems are set up, you have to go to school. You want to be a doctor, you got to do the education and learn all about it. You can't just walk into a hospital tomorrow and start operating on
Mm-hmm.
someone.
Yeah,
That's just a
exactly.
fact of life. That's a
Exactly.
fact of life. And then there's a lot of, and then obviously if you want to be an accountant and work certain jobs and you want to work for other people, then college is great. If there's something in college that you kind of good at, you got some strengths in, you don't want to do this like entrepreneurship route, all that sort of thing, you should go to college because you're going to learn some skills which is going to be good enough to get you a job. And hopefully you enjoy your job enough and you keep developing your skills and you move up the food chain and be a
Yep.
leader in an organization if that's what you want to be. Which is mad respect. These are all just different types of people.
Mm-hmm.
This is life. Different people are meant for different things. And then you should also go to college if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you don't know what you want to do, and you just want to explore, try new things, live the college experience, meet some new people. Mad respect to you. That was kind of how I
Yep.
started. I had an interest in theater. I didn't really know what I wanted to do outside of
Yep.
theater. That was the thing I'd spent most of my early life doing. So that's
Yep.
why I went to college and I did theater. Had some
Mm-hmm.
super cool experiences. I enjoyed it a lot. I left college the first time. I went and worked in the industry for a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
got to the point where I'm like, this is fun, but it's not sustainable for me, at least in the long run.
Yep.
And I guess I lost a little bit of passion and interest, and I was like, oh, nah, maybe not. I'm still going to keep it in my life, of course, but
Right.
so,
Right.
so
Right.
then I'm just working a couple of jobs, making enough money to get by, having some cool experiences once in a while with friends, and then it gets to the point. Okay, now I kind of this is fun partying, like spending lots of money, but I do need to do something with the like rest of my life. So go back to
Mm-hmm.
college the second time by chance. And then for me it's just like random moment. This, like I said earlier, this person inspired me,
Right.
and now I've begun to realize where my true passion and love is and how it's kind of like working out.
Yep.
So I guess college has helped for me personally in my own experience because I can only talk for myself.
Right.
College has helped me find my true passion
Exactly.
and what direction I want to go in for the rest of my life. So I
Exactly.
guess that's kind of an answer to your question a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. Now, this is something interesting because you have a really cool kind of insight on it where it's you first went to school and then you left, worked in the industry, and then you got out, and then you came back to school. You got it done, and now you're doing your thing. I'm curious because I know that there's somebody watching here that really can hear this. What you're going to tell them. Is it wise to go work in the industry that you're kind of interested in the macro scheme of things? Learn some shit and earn some cash to stand on your own 2 feet. Because once you're 18, majority of parents are giving you the boot. You got to go stand up on your own 2 feet someplace, whether it's in a
Yep.
dorm, an apartment, etc. Right? Tell me, is it wise to go work at a job, at a normal day job for a little bit, so that you can get some cash, gain some self-awareness about yourself if you have none, and start to take steps forward? Give me your answer
Absolutely.
on that.
You should get a job as fast as possible because
Exactly.
you may not be an entrepreneur and that might not be what you want to do, but like the quickest way to save cash is when you're young and your costs
Yep.
are low, and for the most part you can still live at home or negotiate even with your parents, pay
Yep.
minimal rent because it's a very expensive world. Like New York
100%.
City, like all these
Oh
big
my god,
cities,
ridiculous.
not terrible where I'm personally living right now, but like all
Yep.
the big cities, like it's
Yep.
extortionary, right?
Yep.
So getting a job, saving money, making a deal with your parents, so you can build that like bank balance.
Right.
Just keep doing that. Just keep doing that for a little bit, and then when it gets to that point where okay, the bank balance is looking good, don't go spend it all on
Right.
partying and
Exactly.
all that side
Exactly.
of life.
Dumb
Sure,
shit.
go out and have some fun, but don't blow it.
Right.
And then when you get to that point where it's like, okay, this is life. I gotta do something with it. Then kind of really decide what you want to do. But be patient too. I know so many people that go touching on the college thing. They're going to
Mm.
college because their parents told them to go to college,
Yep.
and they're really not enjoying like what they're doing because their parent was, for example, I don't know. I use this example all the time. Their
Right.
parent was an engineer, so they think their kid should be an engineer. So
Right.
now all the kids doing is they're going to college and it's
Mm.
blowing all this money. It's
Horrible.
wasted money.
It's terrible, especially with the cost of college today. If you don't like what you're doing, and I mean, like you're paying for it, or you're going into debt. Your shit is fucked. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, and then also you'd be much better taking however many thousands of dollars that you're spending on college for doing
Oh
something
yeah.
that you really don't want to do, and even just sticking in the bank in some basic
Yeah.
stocks or just
Oh
go
yeah.
compound interest. You'd be much
Exactly.
better off in the long run. Do what makes you
Oh my
happy, right?
God.
Comes down to
Exactly.
being happy.
If you have one message for somebody who's failed at a business and is trying to get back into a business, what is your message to them? Curious.
You, to a degree, you should analyze what went wrong last time.
Mm-hmm.
Not You should analyze what went wrong last time, and just so you can see where you can improve. But don't overanalyze because then you get into this really like negative headspace, and it's like, oh, I can't do this because it didn't work the first time. I guess I'm a prime example. If you just take my college education, I went to
Mm-hmm.
college the first time. I graduated. I was making okay money. I was pretty comfortable. And then I went backwards on the pay scale. I worked some jobs that I wouldn't say
Yep.
are meaningless because they've taught me a lot of good communication skills and how
Right.
to talk to people, which is invaluable skills. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what you're doing in life. And then what was the question? Sorry.
Definitely. Just if somebody is started a business a
Yeah.
long time ago and they thought it was going to do good and then they kind of it failed on them, how
Okay.
would you advise them to jump back into that same business if they're in a tough spot right now financially?
Okay. Yeah. So yes, a little bit of analyze. If you're in a kind of tough spot financially, go get a job, go work for someone because you do learn some skills, communications, how to deal with customers, very
Right.
important because it's all about
Right.
the customer. Save some
Mm-hmm.
money, and then when you come up with a new idea, tip number one, this is how Tea with Mike started. Write it down.
100%.
You might I have this notebook full of Tea with Mike ideas. You might write something down and not come back to it, but if you don't
I
write
know.
it down, it's lost forever.
Exactly.
And then just keep developing over time. You've got lots of time, so like don't rush it and force it because that's when it's
Exactly. MD, that
less
was for
likely to
you.
work.
MD, you know who you are. You're watching this. MD. I won't expose your name, but MD, that was for you, MD. Anyways, yeah. So that's it. That's exactly how I thought of it. Those are all the questions that I got. I just gotta say, keep doing your thing. Like shit.
You too,
Like
man.
or actually appreciate that. And one more thing. This is actually I do have another question
Yep.
for someone else who's watching this video. You are building a sizable audience on social.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
We're building a community on social.
Yeah.
And if someone who wants to be huge and the face of entrepreneurship through social media and content, not through building a business, what is your tip for them?
Honestly, just be putting out stuff that you love, and that you truly believe in. Like I've had several professionals like get in touch with me recently, telling me that they've been impressed by how I've grown as an individual since
Right,
when I first joined social media, and
right,
I had like no kind of direction, what I
right,
truly stood for, and I was just putting out rubbish all the time, right? Like
right.
just stuff that doesn't make like any sense. So really, like without taking you down one path, just do what you love. Find if it's posting pictures of your cat Sheila, then you could be this could
Exactly.
this could be Sheila and Melissa's journey on Instagram or whatever. Then
Exactly.
you just tell stories of you and your cat all day long. this is Sheila and me, like
Yep.
having a cup of coffee while we're watching Netflix.
Exactly.
This is Sheila knocking over the bowl in the kitchen. There's lots of different things that you could honestly be doing. Just do it, but
Yep.
make sure you're happy doing it because that's important. That's my
Exactly.
advice.
Perfect. Perfect.
And do yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Got anything else?
That's my final question that I could think of off the top of my head right now.
As
Yeah.
this seems like a really like good natural way to like end this episode.
That sounds good. That sounds good, Mike. It was super fun. We should do this again sometime down the line.
Absolutely, man. Right, guys. This was Tea with Mike, episode number 14. This was Adam. Thanks for being on the show, Adam. You were really good.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to be back on soon.
Guys, make sure you tune in for the next live episode happening very soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.